Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Oh, we've got the giggles. Is this a good start or a bad start?
It's a bad start. Merry Christmas from the Good Ship Illustration. For this episode, we have decided to introduce you to our good friends, Ron and Betty Frampton.
Okay, so I was visiting my friend a few Christmases ago, and he bought himself a Christmas present, put under the tree, and he said, I always write love from Ron and Betty Frampton. So this has become a tradition amongst their family and my family. If any of us want a pressie and nobody's going to buy it for us, we buy it, we stick it under the tree. It's love from Ron and Betty.
Amazing.
So we're giving all of us in the Good Ship family permission to buy themselves a pressie and write love Ron and Betty Frampton. Yes. So Katie, what will Ron and Betty Frampton be buying you this Christmas?
Right, Ron and Betty, very generous couple.
They know you so well.
They know me so well. And the first thing they got me was, what they're going to get me, sorry, because I haven't bought it yet. Well, I have bought it and opened it and I'm using it. But it was one of those lights that is the sad lamps that makes you happy, you know, with the good light in them. I got a bright yellow one for my desk.
What is it?
It's just a lamp, basically. Yeah. A really funny, it's a loomy yellow lamp, but it's got the special light in it that stops you being depressed in the winter.
Oh, if you get sad over the winter.
Yeah, I don't really get that sad, but I was just like, it's bright yellow, it's going to be a good light. So that's the first thing Ron and Betty have got me. And then maybe some Palomino Blackwing pencils.
That's what I was going to say. Ron and Betty have got mine on order. They haven't arrived yet. Oh. Yeah, the Blackwing pencils. They're so expensive.
How much was the sharpener? Because I remember you talked about the Palomino, the Blackwing sharpener.
I've forgotten. It's a fortune. And you know, you can buy the little rubber replacements at the top as well.
Are they expensive?
They're really expensive. So
good.
Ron and Betty will be buying me those this year. Definitely.
They're so generous. If they really are that generous, will they buy me the tech setup that I wanted so that I can draw on an iPad with an Apple Pencil with Photoshop?
I don't know if Ron and Betty are very techie. They might.
Ron's nephew's good.
Ah, right.
So they might rope Ron's nephew in to set that up for you. What was it, like Photoshop talking to the iPad, talking to the computer?
That's it. So I can bypass Wacom.
Yeah.
You need a paper-like screen cover as well.
Yeah, we want that too. But if all that's too much, I just want that really fancy gouache acrylic, the Japanese brand. Do you know the one?
No,
it's got the
I
best
don't know.
Pigment. Just any of it will do. As long as they're not the one that they give to children at schools. Yeah, I want the really fancy one. Yeah.
Yeah. What else am I thinking about? I often look at that. Rebecca Green often talks about that paint set where she has her lovely drawings on the outside and the palette.
It's a really
it's
good
her
colours.
palette. Oh my God. I fancy that.
Are those straight gouache, not gouache acrylic?
I don't know what they are. Whatever they are, I don't really mind. I just want it.
I want the ones where you can paint on top and it doesn't pull the paint up from underneath.
Yeah.
And acrylic does it, doesn't it? So that seals it off when it dries.
Acrylic's good for that.
And you paint on top.
If Betty wanted to get me something else as well, just as like an extra thing, my favourite pens are those Uniball fine inky black pens. A few years ago, I bought myself a big box of them, but they're running out and I might need a top-up.
Yeah, they're good because you can draw. If you're a really speedy drawer, drawing from life in a cafe or something, you draw really fast. If with a ballpoint pen, sometimes you can get little gaps because the pen can't keep up with your speedy drawing. So those are perfect for that. They're really juicy as well.
And they're nice on top of paint and stuff. They're just so good.
Where'd you get them from? Anywhere.
Yeah, they're common. They're like all over the place.
Common as muck.
Were there Tesco ones you liked, didn't you?
There was something I used to buy that was available in Asda.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about high street supermarket art supplies.
Well, there was the bingo dabbers. We went mad for bingo dabbers at Art Club for a while. I love a bingo dabber.
Greaves must have got quite rich on that because they're quite hard to get.
We
They're
went
only
mad
little
for
corner
them.
stores.
And when we went to bingo last Christmas, we saw professional bingo ladies. They had good bingo dabbers.
They did, but do you remember at the break, they brought everybody, it was Christmas, and so at break time, in the middle of the bingo, they brought out 2 little tiny bowls. And when I say tiny bowls, I mean a bowl that you might get given in a cafe to put your tea bag in, that size. One had crisps in it, and one had a few
4
sweets.
crisps.
There were about 4 crisps and 4 sweets. Yeah. And good ship side of the table just immediately tucked into them. And then the ladies wouldn't speak to us for the rest of the evening. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think we stole their share.
Not just that, they could see we were bingo amateurs. We were ironic bingo players, and they sensed it. And perhaps they thought we were laughing at them. Which we really weren't. We were just so excited to be actually at bingo.
We didn't give bingo or the snacks the respect they deserved.
Yeah. I'd still like to go back, would you? Oh, it was a really good evening.
We haven't had a proper Christmas do this time round.
I wanted to win the Twiglets on that table.
Do you like Twiglets?
No, but I like them as a prize. Okay. You have to. If you're going to choose a prize, it's the Twiglets or the lavender soap, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, if Ron and Betty wrap up a tub of Twiglets, I'll be raging.
Do you know, Ron and Betty, every year, they get me those Maynard, is it Maynards? They're sugared fruits. You know, they look like a little orange segment, but it's sugared. They always get me one of those.
They look like they've been completely frosted. They're lovely. Those are.
Oh, I love them. You know, a couple of years ago, but is it Fortnum and Mason, super fancy, me and Cameron had been looking at the candied fruits in this. Yeah. They look so exciting and so good. They were horrible. But it was really exciting to buy them and look at them. I never tried to eat them. Like, ugh.
That's what a lot of Christmas presents look like. There's a certain sector of Christmas presents that is just about being excited when they're open.
Yeah.
But the later bit isn't any fun, and they cost a fortune, those kind of presents.
Sometimes it's all about the packaging, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love a good bit of packaging.
You'd be better off with some good sketchbooks.
Definitely. That's what I bought my 2 nieces. I've got a writer niece and I've got an artist niece. Perfect. And the writer one is getting a very fancy note. I hope she's not listening. She won't be listening. Really nice notebook with some nice writing pens, and the drawer is getting a pith sketchbook because they're so gorgeous, aren't they?
We love
and they open up flat, and the paper's a bit creamy.
They're made
gorgeous.
in Berwick as well.
They are.
They're our pals.
And I got her some batwing pencils too.
Oh wow! Best auntie.
Yeah, she'll have the best pencils of anyone on her course.
Can we just divert to, I have coloured pencil crisis because all the words run around in my head. Luminance,
Caradash.
Yeah, what are the best ones? Aquarelle.
Oh, I love the luminescence, are they called?
Luminance.
I love those. They're so
really
gorgeous.
nice.
The colour range is beautiful. But then I also discovered, is it the pencil museum in the Lake District? Is that the Derwent pencils? The Derwent colour pencils are gorgeous as well. Really, really high pigment, loads of different shades. Just, amazing.
I like them when they're a bit waxy and you can draw on top of other paint.
Yeah, me too.
Some of them are a bit pastel-y, and as they're drawing,
I don't like that.
It's a waste of time. They're all going to fall off the page.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't like that.
Especially on paint.
I can't remember which ones it was, but the Edinburgh College of Art shop had really nice pencils, and I used to buy myself like one a week in really good, like magenta and then like turquoise. And,
nice.
Really good.
I think I might illustrate. Katie and I are writing some stories together about Salty, who is part of the Good Ship crew. Salty Dog. If you go on the website, you'll probably see him over there. We decided to write some stories, and Walker Books are going to publish them probably next autumn, I imagine. I'm not sure. But I was thinking of illustrating those with those luminescence pencils.
That'd be nice.
The colours are so lovely. And when I illustrate bigger, I'll use a Caran d'Ache Neocolor wax.
That's the other one, Neocolors.
I love those. Love them. But even when you sharpen them with a knife and you get a nice fine point, they're good for a picture book scale image, but because these stories are for older children, they're in a smaller book, so the drawings are more like vignettes. They're too chunky for that. So now I'm thinking that the line might be one of the luminescence. Is it luminescence? Luminance. I might use those.
When you draw for your books, do you draw 1-to-1 ratio?
Yeah, and most people draw like 110%. But I don't want the drawing to tighten up. So I just draw 100%, yeah.
Even 110 is quite close to it.
What do you do? Do you draw bigger for your...
Well, it's digital, so...
Oh, it makes no difference.
It's slightly different. And I'm really fascinated by that thing of, size to reproduction when it's hand-drawn stuff. Because when you over-reduce something, it's so horrible, isn't it?
I don't like that. I don't want to draw smaller, obviously, because then you're going to lose...
Or
some
you could draw
quality.
really small and blow it up massively.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. I love
nice.
doing that. A tiny, tiny drawing. Blown. Do you remember when there were old photocopies everywhere?
Yeah.
And you could blow a tiny drawing up on a photocopier and patch it together to make it like as big as a wall. They were gorgeous, weren't they?
It's such a magic trick. But, it's still irresistible when someone does it now. Tiny little pencil drawing and blow it up massively large.
I love that when you do a little throwaway drawing and then you sort of use that as the basis of another drawing. Like, do you remember you drew, was it a little pig that you
was
drew
just a
on an
pig.
invoice?
Yeah, on the back of a bill.
I love
And the
that.
pig was really quite nice. And then
Good
I
pig.
thought, I could use him everywhere.
Exploit the pig.
Like last year, Christmas Good Ship Art Club last year in December, on the 10-second animal segment, we must have given ourselves more than 10 seconds because we were working with collage with scissors and we'd have chopped our fingers off. But maybe we'll say it was 30 seconds. I did a 30-second cutout of a reindeer. It was the best thing I'd done in the entire year, if not the best thing I've done in my life. I love that little drawing. Why am I talking about that again?
Because it was quick and throwaway. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really
Quick
special.
and throwaway,
But
yeah.
stupidly, you showed it to the carpet
Well, the
fitter.
carpet fitter told me that he'd hadn't drawn since school, but he'd done some drawing recently. And then he looked through his phone and he found a drawing he'd done of a lion, very realistic rendered drawing of a lion. And I said, oh, do you want to see the best thing I did last year? Because it was on my kitchen table because I was cutting more out to make Christmas cards. And he said, yeah. And so I held up this 30-second cut out of a reindeer and he just went, oh.
It's probably like, she's delusional. She's not actually an illustrator.
He went
just
home to
tells
his
this-
wife, like, I was putting the carpet out for this woman. She said she was an illustrator, but I don't know. Well, we hope Ron and Betty Frampton bring you everything you wanted.
Maybe Ron and Betty Frampton might bring them
A freak flag.
Freak flag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be remiss of us not to mention that we've very quietly, probably not very quietly at this point in the game, but
You're banging on about it.
yeah.
Tell Ron and Betty Frampton's nephew. He'll know about buying stuff online. They
Yeah.
won't do it.
He's hot on it, and he knows about the 5p option as well. No, the doors are open, so if you want to find your creative voice and fly a freak flag, and if nobody's bought you it, you can treat yourself and just say that Ron and Betty did.
Happy
Yeah.
Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Happy New Year. Bye.